time I hear somebody call me Frederick Mitchell, I think they're talking about my daddy. Yeah. This is Junior here. Thank you very much, though. Good afternoon to everybody. Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, the Secretary General, all the officers and members of the party, the NGC, our parliamentarians, who all of us were just in a joint session of Parliament. I hope you understand why we're delayed, marking the anniversary of women exercising the franchise for the first time on the 26th of November 1962. And that session just adjourned in the Parliament, and so we repaired here to the headquarters to mark this, the birthday of the Progressive Liberal Party. And I'm pleased and honored to welcome all of you here this afternoon on this very special occasion. And it's special because we are the default party of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We're the legacy party, and the country always looks to us for the solutions in good times and bad. And there's been an attempt every time the opponents win the government to try and delegitimize the Progressive Liberal Party. And one of the ways they tried to do that is by attacking the history of the party and seeking to rewrite the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So it is important for us on every occasion that we can to tell the story of the Progressive Liberal Party, and to tell it over and over again so that the story will not be forgotten. In 1977, Sean McQueenie and I were part of an organization called the National Alliance, which was a precursor to the Progressive Young Liberals. And at that convention in 1977, I was asked by the then Prime Minister and leader of the party to do a set of presentations over the 5 days of convention, which told the history of the struggle for majority rule on each of the various nights. And that developed for me the ability to reduce the history of the struggle for majority rule in the Progressive Liberal Party down to a bite size. So if you ask me, what is the history of our struggle, or what is the history of the PLP, I can do it in 10 minutes, or I can do it in 5 minutes. And that's how I think we have to organize our history. So this is a story that we can tell, almost like telling our children once upon a time. Cyril Stevenson, in 1983, when he was marking the 30th anniversary of the party, wrote an essay, which I put in the parliamentary caucus group this morning, in which he marked the history of what he had found. He said that the Progressive Liberal Party announced itself to the world on the 23rd of November, 1953. That was 11 years after the Burma Road riots. He said that the founders of the party were himself, Henry Taylor, and William Cartwright. And if you read the essay, he talks about their going to London for the coronation, meeting with the Labour Party and the Fabian Society in London, then getting together with H.M. Taylor back in Nassau upon their return, going to Jamaica, meeting with the leaders of the political parties in Jamaica, and then coming here and deciding to form the Progressive Liberal Party. So I happen to have been born a month before that, so one of the PLPs from Bermuda sent me a note this morning and said, "You were literally born into the PLP." That's a good story to tell. So today, we marked 69 years of the continued existence of the first and oldest political party in the Bahamas, the Progressive Liberal Party. And after all those years, it's still PLP. H.M. Taylor says that the first political branch of the party was formed by a man named Fergie. I don't think he called his name in the book, but his name was Fergie in the Angliston district. And H.M. Taylor, did you know? Yeah, so the leader can tell you the story. But they signed up 100 people on that night, the first meeting that was held in Angliston. And H.M. Taylor is well known for having gone around the Bahamas. And Sean McQueenie, in his history of the party, almost singularly credits H.M. Taylor as the person who literally, person by person, signed up people, branches by branches, and laid the foundation for what is the PLP today. And he's the one who said that, I think he says that he just happened to be passing somewhere in one of the districts. And he happened to say to the fellows he was passing by, PLP. And the person replied, all the way. And from that time, that's been the slogan, all the way. And it's an enduring one, and nobody has been able to surpass it. They can say the people's time, or whatever they want to say, but there's nothing that beats all the way.
All the way.
All the way. Congratulations then to you and to all who have stayed the course. Congratulations to those who've gone the last mile of the way. And we remember those who've gone on to their reward. Today, we remember the three founders in particular. Cyril Stevenson, Bill Cartwright, his son Peter is here, and we'll speak to you in a minute, and Henry Taylor. And we also remember our first leader, Lyndon Pinley, and the group that call themselves the Magnificent Six: Sammy Isaacs, Clarence Bain, Milo Butler, Randall Fox, Cyril Stevenson, and Lyndon Pinley, who were the first PLPs to be elected to the House of Assembly back in 1956, on the 10th of July. Cyril Stevenson wrote that the success of the party could not have been possible without the work and fundraising of the women of the party. On this day, when the Parliament paused to commemorate the 60th anniversary of women exercising the vote, we remember all of them too. And I digress slightly by saying that the late Beryl Hannah, who was the wife of the late Arthur Hannah, told me the story of her having first arrived as the bride of Mr. Hannah in Nassau from England, and standing on the corner of Christie and Bay Street and seeing her first PLP parade. And it was quite a gathering of mainly women, being led by Minky Isaacs' grandmother and my grandaunt, Dame Alberta Isaacs, who was riding a bicycle and a group of women walking behind her, singing the praises of the PLP. That was her introduction to it. I had another great grandaunt, Nora Hannah, who was the treasurer of the PLP. And I remember going to Exuma, and the late Kermit Roll, who was one of our stalwart councillors, and his brother Clayton, who had a bar up at the top of the hill in Rollville, if you've ever been there.
Hilltop Tavern. Sure.
What is it called? Hilltop Tavern.
Tavern.
Yeah. So the two of them were dispatched by their father on the mailboat to Nassau. And they were told that when you get off the mailboat, you go and see Nora Hannah. And she will set you straight. And when they met Nora Hannah, she immediately enrolled them in the PLP. And they were PLPs until their death. So women were crucial, says Cyril Stevenson, to the success of the Progressive Liberal Party. On the 26th of November this year, on Saturday, Ruby-Ann Cooper-Darling is being honored by the party. She, of course, is a former member of Parliament. She's being honored on the actual date of the first vote by women back in 1962, and she's being honored as a woman who was first to register to vote in the Bahamas, first woman. Now, the PLP has been associated with all, I underline all. I say it again, the PLP has been associated with all, each and every social change and progress in this country. From the rights of labor to universal education, the rights of women, the rights of young people. The voting age was lowered to 18 under the PLP. The UBP opposed it. They blocked it in the Senate. And the development of the modern state. And you know, they keep saying it's Stafford Sands who established the tourism sector, but not so. Progressive Liberal Party established year-round tourism and put the economy of this country on a national and annual basis, our national defense and our economy. These all go down to the Progressive Liberal Party's account, and no other party can make such a claim. 69 years is a long time, but not long enough. Having accomplished majority rule and national independence, it is now time to tackle the challenge of economic empowerment. To this end, we pledge anew to do the following. We must continue to educate our people and teach them in the ways of equity, peace, and justice. That we are not hogs at the public trough, but are servants of the Bahamian people, and pledge anew on this 69th anniversary to their service. We must increase the wealth and share the pie and implement a program of affirmative economic action. We must uplift the poor, the downtrodden, care for the hungry, and those who cannot take care of themselves. As you can see, we have miles to go before we sleep. Today, I would like to announce that in pursuance of the goals of the Progressive Liberal Party, that we will do the following. We intend to purchase $10,000 in Bahamas government bonds in the name of the Progressive Liberal Party as a sign of good faith and support of our government's management of the public finances and the work of our Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. If you saw the headlines this morning, it's something which I said spread the message. FTX will have no material effect on the development and forward movement of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. No material effect. We will petition the government to formally incorporate by statute the Progressive Liberal Party with the transfer of all of its assets, income, and liabilities to the new statutory corporation. We tried to do this when we were in opposition. The Free National Movement refused to do it. And as I say, you know, Toni Morrison said, when you have power, you name things. And when you have power, use the power. So now we got it. We're going to do it. We want to begin the search for suitable land for the building of new offices and a convention center for the Progressive Liberal Party. "69 years, it's about time." You know, I said to PM, I was invited to a church which is located off Cowpen Road. And when I walked there and saw the size of this edifice, I said to myself, this party, the Progressive Liberal Party, is over 60 years of age and can't have a place where we can have a convention without having to go to some hotel.
We can fix it up.
We can fix it. And to continue to work on improving the public health. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been my privilege and honor to be the chair of the Progressive Liberal Party since 2017. And I want to thank all of you for your support. I am pleased to have worked with all of our members of Parliament and senators, and in particular, the leader of the Progressive Liberal Party, Philip Edward Gray Davis. Our deputy leader, I. Chester Cooper, and the officers of the party, including our Secretary General, our able Secretary General, Barbara Carter. It has been a good run. We plan to have important markers over the next year as we lead to the 70th anniversary of our party. I say again, we have miles to go before we sleep. PLP? All the way! PLP? All the way! PLP?